Set it on, faster than Ella. If I ever lose, set it on, bigger and better. Hitting roller coaster can bigger, bolder, faster. Boom, I'm going to the maximum. I'm going to the maximum. I'm going to the maximum.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Henry. Henry is he is in Boston, so it's about 2 o'clock in the morning there, right, Henry?
Yes, about actually New York now, Ida.
Right, right. All the three gentlemen here are very good friends. Henry is a new dad, so thank you for staying up so late. Okay, let me start my quick intro. Thank you so much to the organizers of Philippine Blockchain Week 2022. Good friend Donald Lim, Cheska, Bernard, you're so good. Excellent intro. A special thank you to Renz and Francis. You guys have been great. Okay, so this is among my favorite topic. In fact, one of my favorite topics because we're talking about future of finance and we're unlocking with the use of blockchain. Okay, so yeah, I have lots of questions for you three. We have about 40 minutes to take this up. And we also have, Henry here is kind enough to donate several books, and 3 will be given to the audience. It's called Opening the Archipelago and a Story of Blockchain in the Philippines. This is, by the way, authored by Henry Aguda, attorney Nathan Marasigan, and Kathy Bautista Casas. Thank you. Okay, so let me do this. All right. Okay, in case not aware, we have Angelo here with a group of Maya Pay Maya. They are, by the way, double unicorn. That means $2 billion company. And of course, we have with us Alan Guo. He is part of Jack Ma Group, the Alibaba Group, and he's the country manager of Alibaba Cloud Solutions. I know the intro's been there, but it was a little bit noisy, in case you didn't know that. Later on, we will, hopefully, given the time, open up the floor to the audience, and there's about a couple more books or 3 books to be given. Okay, let's start with you, Jello, followed by Alan. Kindly give us your background, your work, extent of involvement in blockchain, and or decentralized finance. Go ahead, Jello.
Yeah, so again, thanks for the introduction. It's a pleasure to meet, see all of you guys. Yeah, so I'm Angelo. I lead the Maya Bank. So just it's a banking arm of the Voyage Group or Maya. So we've actually rebranded earlier this year. What I do right now, it's a quick background. I actually started in law, and then from there I went into corporate banking, went to New York, worked with City Ventures. That's how I got exposed to Fintech. Then went back home, started another startup, that was Tada, and then I was fortunate enough to meet Duivea, and then they asked me to start this new bank under Voyager, so this is now Maya Bank. So this is what I'm leading for this year. So we started earlier this year, and we've scaled quite fast. Again, owing to a lot of technologies, I think we'll be able to chat today, including the cloud as well. And then the scaling going forward after that. Yeah, but that's my quick background. Thank you.
Okay, and by the way, Jello used to be a trustee of Fintech Alliance. We are co-convener here. And Alan is, at the moment, also a trustee of Fintech Alliance, while Henry is a co-trustee of Institute of Corporate Directors, as well as we're both with the Blockchain Council of the Philippines. So to you, Alan, same question, if you don't mind giving your background, what's Alibaba Cloud Solutions, what can you tell us about perhaps decentralized finance or anything to do with blockchain as well, please?
Okay. Hello, my name is Alan. I'm just the country manager of the Alibaba Cloud Philippines. Actually, Alibaba Cloud was established in 10 years before, and also, Alibaba Group's, the full technology was embedded into the Alibaba Cloud. Actually, for now, Alibaba Cloud is just like the technology backbone for the whole Alibaba Group, including the no matter the e-commerce, retail technology, on the financial, the back-end technologies, and also logistic, and also also digital marketing technologies. And also for now, Alibaba Cloud has, being ranked as the number one, just like a cloud technology or solution, digital solution provider in Asia market. And also Alibaba Cloud has been based into the Philippine market for now, also more than 4 years. And also Alibaba Cloud, we have invested our first local data in the Philippines, which is also the only one cloud vendor who invested into the Philippines for the local region. So actually, Alibaba Cloud, you can see we are one just like cloud technology provider, but actually Alibaba Cloud is also one, digital solution expert, and also, the digital transformation, just like the partners who focus on the, no matter the retail, but also just like, the financial technologies. So for now, you can see in the Philippines, Alibaba Cloud has partnered, a lot of, financial institutions, and also the, just like, the benchmark clients, including the Gcash, UBX, and also definitely Alibaba Cloud, we will just like committed to, to support more, just like in the Philippines, no matter the financing, just like inclusion, but also the open finance, just like technologies. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so the present banking that we have is basically brick and mortar. You go to the bank, you do your transactions. We have here 3 highly innovative institutions with Maya Bank being a digital bank. We have Alibaba Cloud doing the technology up there, of course, in the cloud. And we have, of course, the most innovative bank in the Philippines, which is Union Bank, powered by UBX. Good friend here, Henry, happens to be the chief tech and the senior vice president also of Union Bank, and at the same time, the chairperson of City State, and at the same time, UBX. So highly talented people here. When our topic is shifting away from really the traditional banking, and Henry has shown to you about the Katilyan Bank as an example. So there's a live case already using blockchain as the main source when it comes to the decentralized finance. But Henry, a lot of people are still confused. I know you've explained decentralized finance is getting away from centralized. Could you explain in layman's terms what is decentralized finance, and at the same time, the CBDC, i.e. the central bank digital currency, which you are doing sandbox with the Banco Central, please?
Thanks, Ida. So it's really a very heavy concept when people talk about decentralized finance, CBDC. But decentralized finance is basically taking out the regulator, disintermediating the function of issuing a regulated currency. So decentralized finance is not, it's a way for other institutions to create their own regulated stable coin, so to speak, and create their own rules on how to mediate and how to arbitrate issues among them. So it's a self-contained ecosystem that is tied up with economic interests of the participants in the economy. So I2I is not yet a decentralized finance execution, but it has the makings of one. I2I being a group of rural banks where Union Bank right now is the central authority that manages the stable coin. But if you imagine a future where Union Bank steps back and gives the regulation of the stable coin to the different rural bank participants, that would be test case decentralized finance execution. On the other hand, CBDC, or central bank digital currency, is a way for it's a way for banking regulators to issue their own digital form of currency. Our own central bank is participating or creating that experiment where Union Bank is a participant in that sandbox. The experiment is to see if a digital currency can make transactions among entities in the banking system more efficient and effective. Things that they need to address would be settlement and clearing would have to be real time. So it's a drive toward efficiency. China's done it. Other countries have done it. There's nothing that beats virtual or digital in terms of speed of transaction compared to a paper-based currency. So that's the concept of a central bank-backed digital currency. They have some of the same characteristics, but they differ in the fact that CBDC is is still regulated by a regulator.
See, that's how powerful blockchain is, that you can actually do this, use the central bank digital currency through the blockchain. And at the same time, as Henry's mentioning, it's not only cheaper, it's also more efficient. In fact, as Henry's mentioning, cross-border collaboration is actually already happening. Singapore is doing it, China is doing it, and we are also experimenting with, it's called the 5 ASEAN. May I just, before I go to you gentlemen, I'm part of the BSB Open Finance Oversight Committee, transition group together with Attorney Martin Goroseta, and we are about to launch the pilot of the Open Finance. Basically what that means is, for argument's sake, Martha Bora over here, with BDO account, will now be able to transfer, with your consent, information to another account. And in the future, and don't quote me on this, but what we think may happen in the future, given that payment systems will need to be efficient, that's where we see the future also of blockchain being used, similar as to the arrangement of Castilian Bank with all the other rural banks that's being experimented under I2I. So we're seeing that as interconnected in the future, and this is why we believe blockchain will be very much used also in the open finance. I'd like to get a little bit more information of what Maya Bank is doing, as well as, of course, Alibaba Cloud. And what other use cases do you have in the blockchain that we can provide information to them for them to see the future of finance? Jenna?
Okay, I'll start. So for me, it's really if I would actually create a comparison, right? We have to look at the use cases, right, in financial services. So at the core of that, any average person would basically need two things at the outset, right? They need to save money and they need to borrow money. And then if they haven't able to generate capital out of that to improve their cash flow, then they will need insurance and investments to kind of make sure that that cash flow is protected, right? So, I guess in the first tradition, like Ida mentioned earlier, we now rely on brick and mortar institutions to do that for us. Now, the next wave of innovation is now we're looking at the digital banks. The digital banks have totally transformed that into a more a mobile experience that you're able to enjoy at the palm of your hands. So, for example, in our case, if you open an account right now and you're able to and you want to save, we offer 5 or 6% interest rate FYI. So, if you want to test it out, you actually are able to transport for in the spirit of open finance, right? Bring your KYC data from the wallet side to the bank without the need of actually going through paperwork, and you're able to do that pretty much real time, and also access credit all at the convenience of your phone. So the blockchain allows us to now open up those financial services to more complicated instruments. So for example of that is now you're able to access crypto through blockchain. You're able now to remit money through cross-border instances without the need of a formal regulation. You're able to bypass SWIFT. So a lot of these decentralized ledger technology is able to bring more financial services that requires to get to the palm of your hands. So here I just want to keep it very simple, right? You're doing the brick and mortar, going to a pure mobile format in the palm of your hands, and then from that same medium, blockchain is able to deliver more complex financial services to the individual. At the very basic, those are the use cases that I see in the immediate future. I cannot think 10 years out, but at least in a couple of years, I think that should be very feasible.
Okay. So actually, Alibaba Cloud, we just like try our best to build the trusted cloud infrastructure for all the just this kind of the system players. So if we just like look back, in the past 2 or 3 years, no matter the blockchain, NFT, and also even some just like Web3 application or system, actually when they create this created the see, no matter the security, data privacy, but also even just like some financial technologies such as KYC, anti-money laundering, and also even some risk control, this kind of technologies, or also has been embedded into this kind of the cloud platforms. Meanwhile, we can see use this kind of the no matter blockchain or even the NFT technologies, even from the Alibaba Group or even from the Alibaba Group's ecosystems, also has been adopt this kind of scenario. I just take one or two, just like scenario. The first is about the cross-border remittance. In the Philippines, there is a lot of OFW workers in Hong Kong, right? Before, if these kind of the workers, they're gonna just like to deposit their money back into the Philippines. Maybe it's gonna take just like 2 or 3 days, or even longer. But if this kind of the OFW workers, they can use just like they had the Hong Kong e-wallet, and also they just take us maybe 7 minutes or even just like shorter time that they can just like deposit the money into the Philippines e-wallet already. So you can see for this kind of the scenario is, the backend is the blockchain smart contracting and also the financial technology already embedded into this kind of the tool, e-wallet, and then they use the blockchain to build this kind of the remittance bridge and also the remittance channels and also remittance just like this kind of the service for these kind of the OFW workers. They can enjoy the much efficient just like the money remittance from the Hong Kong to the Philippines. So I think most of this can be no matter the blockchain, but also the KYC and security, all can be embedded into this kind of the just like the new technology or solutions together. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to mention, just summarizing what Alan has mentioned. It's not only efficient, it's also, you can put more trust into it. We all know in the banking world, we all know that the legacy system is kind of outdated and compared to the cloud system. More so if you embed blockchain there because of the trust factor. Henry, because Union Bank's a little bit more advanced. We talked about remittance, we talked about payments. What about streamlining business processes? What about trusted certifications? What about the use of smart contracts? What about the use of digital assets? Could you expound on that a little bit, please?
Yeah, so, but before that, I'd like to highlight and ride on to what Alan represents, which is cloud infra. I think if a bank or any institution wants to go into blockchain in a heavy way, cloud should be a prerequisite, right, Alan? If you don't go to cloud, don't talk about distributed at all anymore because you won't be able to scale. And I think that's how Jello also built his bank. It's a scalable bank because it's also cloud-based. Now, as to the other applications of blockchain on certification, streamlining the process, and smart contract, a lot of people only associate blockchain with cryptocurrencies. Little do they know that actually the killer app other than cryptocurrencies, the ability of the chain to auto-execute transactions, which are the smart contracts. It's really just a code that allows you to execute payments, remittances, loans, or clawback transactions if needed. The power of that smart contract execution, like any contract is about fulfilling obligations between parties. As Jello is a lawyer, so he knows that putting it on paper is just a matter of form. The actual essence of a contract is the execution of obligations. And if you put the execution of obligations in a code, you can just imagine how fast things can move. Coupled with the fact that a digital ledger is immutable, there will be less litigation down the road if a lot of the financial transactions are done that way. Gone are the days where you'll need notarized documents, 2,000-page documents that allow you to fulfill a specific transaction. So those are the power of blockchain.
Okay. A friend of mine keep asking me about exactly what do we mean by immutable, what does this mean on the smart contract. If I may just mention it in layman's terms, if I'm going to sell a property to Jello over here for about ₱1,000,000, I could digitally transfer the funds to him. That's easy. I could do that through a digital currency, for argument's sake, and that would be cheaper, faster, and at the same time, I could actually he could actually send to me the title in blockchain format, which means that everything's digital and at the same time, even our contract. And when Henry is mentioning that it's immutable, so we don't have to argue that there's something in the contract that didn't mean that, or there's something you added, you cannot tamper because it's immutable.
So Ida, you just disrupted the legal industry, right? You don't need lawyers anymore.
He's, by the way, a lawyer turned banker. So I'm not gonna. Yeah, Attorney Goroseta is watching there, so I'm not going to mention anything. This is the future of finance, and of course we are talking about blockchain. Well, let's talk about metaverse. Henry showed us a very nice metaverse person there, and in fact it could be e-commerce. You go through, instead of going in Shopee, Lazada, you go into the world of metaverse, purchase and have your goods delivered, or actually purchase an asset in the metaverse. So, but let's call spade a spade. We heard that Facebook, i.e. Meta, just retrenched 11,000 employees. In fact, he apologized. He said that he had it wrong. Or could it be that he's faster than, in the way that he's thinking, that the ecosystem's not yet there and the people are not buying it in? How confident are you three in the metaverse world? Is that going to happen now, in the next couple of years? What's your take on that one? Okay, let's start with
Alan first.
I just wanted to share some, just like my personal, just like, the comments for this. Actually, I think, no matter how this kind of the new technologies always just like, takes the steps to be recognized from the market, from the generations. Such as, if we look back into, 5 years before, no matter the Web3 or NFT, we even didn't just like, recognize this is a very, a very interesting, and also some, some just like, that you can maybe change your life, something, yeah. But, if, 5 years passed, no matter the NFT or even the Web3, already just like become a booming industry, or even just like many just like, especially from the young generations, they just like, to put more of their, just like more and more their efforts, or just like energies onto this kind of new technologies. But, no matter the metaverse, but also even the NFT, and also even just like most of the, just like interesting the Web3. So it's not like before, just say some traditional technology, even some tech, even just like a very interesting things, such as for metaverse or Web3. The cloud technology is already become very bottom line. But in the, just like upper line is, or up layer is becomes, the blockchain, and also even some, some other just like a technology become the infrastructure for metaverse and also for NFT. Yeah, and also even for the Web3. So I think, what we're gonna do is just like to keep learning about this kind of the new technologies. But, for the new technology, no matter the metaverse, but also the NFT, I guess, definitely they can bring more and more values into this, just like the life and also the economy. But, I guess just like no matter from the talents, but also the young generations, and also the investment more and more into this kind of the new technologies, then I guess maybe just like after years, yeah, this kind of the new technology into the metaverse or just like Web3 also gonna just like play a very critical role in the countryside, in the countries such as GDP growth or economy growth, something like that, yeah.
That's so interesting, Alan. Um, do you have a take on that, or should I give it
I
to?
can take last, Henry first.
Okay, Henry, please.
Yeah, so I go by. So we had a very good speaker last month in our Avoidis Learning group session, Matt Ridley. And Matt Ridley said, innovation, the impact of innovation would normally be overestimated in the early years. So I think that's where we are. A lot of the things around metaverse may be on the hype cycle at this point, and we're overestimating, what it could be, where we stand at this point, because really nobody can still walk into a room and do a three-dimensional interaction with people. We're still doing Zoom calls like this. But the thing with innovation is we tend to underestimate the impact in the latter years. We don't know what it's going to bring us. Like the internet. The internet, nobody anticipated the impact of social media. Nobody anticipated people would be renting strangers' homes more than hotels. People will be using Uber or Grab rather than taxi. So I think we're still in the early stages of the metaverse. There's still some hype around it. People who are early adopters are cautious about the hype, but given a 5 to 10 year horizon, it will be a big difference. This is the same thing that happened with the digital payment in the Philippines. In the early days, 6 years ago, people are saying, nah, people will still go to the branches, do ATMs and what have you. Fast forward to now, everybody can't get enough of digital payments. So early days, but I'm excited and looking forward to 5, 10 years from now, where we will just be wowed with the impact of the metaverse in society in general.
Cello, do you want to add on to that one, or we can move on to another question? Okay. Before I move on to a couple more questions over here, any questions from the audience? The first question will get a book, which is Story of Blockchain in the Philippines. Anyone? Yes, please, go ahead. Oh, can we pass a microphone there, please? Can we pass a microphone to the lady over here, thanks? No, it's okay. I'll give this to you. That's okay. Okay.
Hi, good afternoon. All of this for a freebie anyway. But anyway, all of these innovation, open finance, DeFi, metaverse, I would think being the institutions that you belong to, compliance is top of the list. So I was just wondering if it is something that is you check first, then innovate, or is this innovate and trust that the lobbyists to the local institutions and the laws and what have you will just adopt eventually? Or is it more of a close collaboration between the innovators and the local people that do the regulations and checks and...
Yeah, ang ganda ng tanong mo. Who wants to tackle that one? So is it just innovate, or do we do it together with the regulators, or do we just do it and then hopefully eventually the regulators will pick it up and agree to it? Who wants to tackle that one? Jello? Yes, please.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead, Henry. Henry, go.
Okay,
Thanks, Jello. Because I'm also part of ICB with IDA, it's always responsible innovation in line with the rules of the regulators. And you'd be surprised when you engage the regulators. I think Jello knows this very well also. When you engage the regulators, you'll be surprised how many innovators there are in BSP, particularly. And they encourage us. That's why the things that we've done in Union Bank usually start off with the sandbox. If it's a new product that we're launching in the area of blockchain or API or even cloud. Cloud started off as a sandbox for us also. And it allows the regulators also to move in pace with technology and with the market. So it has to be in partnership with the regulators. Otherwise, you wouldn't want to violate anything because banking at the end of the day is still a business of trust.
Great. Jello, please chime in.
Yeah, so just sharing to you my personal experience, right? Um, I think it's Southeast Asia, and I can speak this from experience, right? And you also the same market feedback as well. I think Philippines is, we're actually blessed with a very progressive regulator. BSPs, I could not say enough, good remarks in the BSP. Just in our case, right, the digital banking framework, they're the ones who actually created that. And without that, there are no digital banks today. I mean, there are some versions of it, but the pure form digital bank would not have come about without their, progressive mindset on it, right? We have actually other central bank regulators coming into the Philippines asking us what was the key to, launching very fast. And I told them, it's not about me, it's actually because the BSP is a very close partner. They've allowed us to get the license very quickly. They check our tech, allowed us to roll to the market. We're actually able to do it under 5 months. 5 months from getting the license. So it was very, I've worked with regulators both in the US and Singapore and here, right? I mean, the one that we have here in the Philippines is very, very progressive. So having said that, that means also that the regulators are also trusting the entities that are allowed to conduct such business. So going back to what Henry said, the responsibility and accountability behind that, right? So at least especially I take that very personally. Compliance is top of mind. That has also been my background, I guess. Just part of just based on this kind of like my core DNA. But at the same time, you got to balance it with how to be progressive and able. At the end of the day, it's actually making sure that you offer a financial product to the customer that they can trust. And they can trust again tomorrow, and they can trust again 10 years from now, 100 years from now. So a lot of these things is really balanced regulation, close collaboration with the regulators, and making sure that all of these things are very transparent to the customer, and you're able to deliver that promise day in, day out, 24/7. So yeah.
Thank you. That was really, really nice question. In fact, I want to add on to that one. The SEC, they have a Fintech innovation department. And at the same time, of course, the BSP, both can actually do sandbox. We in Fintech Alliance, we are a good partner of SEC and BSP. And whenever there's actually ideas and there would be changes in policies and regulations, we are given a chance to actually comment on that. And if it's the other way around, we have an idea, any of our members, it's something that we can also put forward to the regulators, and they're open. If they find it risky, then as both gentlemen mentioned, we put it in the sandbox. Okay, we still have a few minutes, and I want to. Okay, sorry, you have a question.
Hi, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Michael Lance from PhilIT Org and Bitpinas. So I have a question regarding the regulators again. Can you share with us one of the regulations that you have hard time complying with? And the second is, what is your wish list for the regulators to understand our industry right now? Thank you.
Who wants to tackle that? I think each and every one of us would have a list of the wish list. Yeah, Jello, you want to?
I'm not sure if Henry would want to chime in, but I can go after these two gentlemen.
Yeah. Okay. So I just share some, because I have been working, in the Southeast Asia also for more than 14 years, Indonesia, Thailand, and also even Hong Kong, and also even China, right? So what I wanted to say is that, no matter what kind of the business innovation or technology innovation or other innovations, so there is a final target. The final target is, all these kind of the innovations just like a revert into the economic growth and also bring the much better life for the common peoples. So that's the final target from my comments. Yeah, but you can see, even in the regulators, such as in the Philippines, and also even in Hong Kong, Singapore, and also even in some other countries, the regulators always play a very critical role in this kind of the innovation and also the regulations. So they're gonna just like to play the role to make sure no matter the who, just like the, this kind of the innovation can be, smoothly and also even just like safely to give, just like, to reach this kind of the digitalization or innovation target. It's not only for a few people, but it's only for the whole country and also even for the whole region something. So, and also we had, I guess, most of us also had talked with the regulators. They also very expertise for some, the new things and also, yeah, but they just needed to just like to work just like smoothly and also, the risk controls for something. That's why, there is a lot of, the fintech association and also the members that can work together with the regulators, to reach this kind of the target. Yeah, that's my few comments. Yeah, thank you.
Henry?
Yeah, so I was actually trying to think back because I started banking only 6 years ago. And fortunately, I had no comparison with any other regulator than the BSP because I've only worked banking in the Philippines. And I came in at a time where I think Governor Espinilla then started off this journey of aggressive digitization. Remember, there were no PesoNet or InstaPay 7 years ago. And he aimed to change the payment landscape from cash to digital, which they did. I think about 30 to 40% are now digital. And that's why you have double unicorns like Paymaya, because we caught the right wave of regulation where it's moving into change. So, is there a regulation that I'm having difficulty complying with? When it comes to innovation, we're all in. In fact, we see our regulators participating in critical venues such as the Singapore Fintech Festival, which they've diligently attended, scanned the developments that are happening in Singapore and other jurisdictions. They engage MAS actively. In fact, the head innovator of MAS is a regular visitor here in the Philippines also, Mohanty. And we've been able to exchange views with the regulators. So the more they become more digitally oriented, the easier it is for Union Bank particularly to adapt to the regulations. In fact, if you look at the latest circulars from cybersecurity to cloud to allowing us to do agency banking, if you look at all of the recent circulars dating as far back as 2016, they're all progressive. So far, most of the progressive circulars are very easy to, well, not easy, are things that we in Union Bank are excited and always eager to comply with.
Okay, thank you, Henry. Jello, you wanna?
Yeah, so for me, I think I need to reframe it because it's not more of complying, it's more of like what needs to be done more. If anything, I think there will be, if there's one asset I would think about is really around data, meaning on two aspects, right? Digital identity, meaning in the spirit of open finance, right? And able to carry that data to any financial institution to demand a customized financial offering for that customer. So in those spirit, right? So I know we are already working on the digital identity. That digital identity is actually in the spirit of KYC. As you know, the Philippines is still working towards a centralized KYC database. So that will be massive, right? In a lot of developed markets, a lot of financial institutions have already direct API link to a centralized database where they're able to access digital identity to allow, to build on what you're saying earlier, right? KYC, fraud, AMLA, so it's a safe transaction rate to verify a customer. So that's it's still a big bottleneck. So there's a lot of innovation needed there, both from a private and regulatory standpoint. The other piece is also the carry of that data by a customer to another financial institution. I think that will be more around open finance, where you're able to, I think I would not even say decentralized, right? I mean, I would just say democratize, so that I can carry my own financial data, so I can enjoy services with Union Bank, with Maya Bank. Actually, if I go to Singapore, I should be able to carry that as well. with DBS, so you're able to carry that anywhere around the world. So hopefully that will be, those are two areas that I think will be massive in, pushing financial inclusion in this country.
Great. I want to chime in. I know I'm a moderator, but I want to answer that as well. 70% of the businesses are having difficulty presently because of lack of financing. If you are distressed, you've turned past due, you're a startup, where can you get financing? So this is where I think when you go through the Philippine Stock Exchange with stringent regulation, which is close to impossible if you've been distressed, impossible if you're a startup, and this is where I think the power of the digital asset offering. We were hoping that Commissioner Kelvin was going to announce this morning that the law is already there. It was called an initial coin offering. We started that in, I think, late 2017. We worked with the regulators in drafting that, and up to date, they're a little bit scared because of what happened to Luna, to Terra, to FTT, FTX. And because there's a comparison in coin offering, i.e. tokenization or on the crypto space, that particular law on the digital asset offering has been deferred, which is a bit of a pity, but we feel that with Fintech Alliance supporting the regulators, we see where they're coming from because we don't want the Filipino public to be endangered by lack of information and therefore lose your money because you've invested somewhere else. But I think the digital asset offering would be more advantageous. But I do also believe that the regulators are looking into that in more detail because they need to put in more regulations. When I say more regulations, balancing that digital asset offering to the risk. So that's my wish list for the regulators to look at that seriously and hopefully faster. We really don't have enough time. We have barely 5 minutes. So if I can have 1 minute for you guys, what will the future of finance or banking, what will it look like in 10 years' time? And where is blockchain? Can I start with Jello? Would you mind?
Yeah. All right. I'll put an imagery here, right? So imagine yourself waking up in the morning, clapping your hands. All of a sudden, you can generate a hologram around you. You're transported to an entirely different place, literally out of your imagination. That is metaverse for you, right? You don't need Oculus anymore, but literally it's a projection of your own dreams, and you're able to set that up, right? Now, you want to open you want to buy, for example, go to a certain place in Italy and you're in the Philippines, right? You want something to be delivered to you. So you're able now to pay via blockchain. Let's say a Maya coin, you're able to pay that other seller or merchant in Italy, like I know your favorite cheese, and that one will be transported to you by one of those Jeff Bezos high rocket speed Amazon drones, right? So, and that's actually blockchain bringing in, and you have Maya digital banks all around in that your own imaginary universe that's able to bring all of these services because they're all, working with the regulators because it's all regulated, safe, and you can actually put your trust. So I think that is actually quite realistic because at the end of the day, I have always this belief that we as humans, and I borrow a lot from Elon Musk, we are insatiable, curious individuals that we don't really settle for what is physical in front of us, or else we would have stayed in the cave. But I think we'll always keep on pushing boundaries that our imagination will be a reality, but we want to aspire to live to. So that's kind of like what I aspire. I think that will happen also as a reality.
Nice. I hope I'm still alive at that time. Alan?
I just wanted to make a suppose, I guess, in the next 10 years or something, when you cross border or just something even in the nationwide, you do not need to have any, the card or credit card or something. You just had one wallet or just had only one ID that you can to buy, to consume online, offline, and also even to fly any cross-border countries, to travel or something. Yeah, that you can be imagined. Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Nice. And Henry, please. Future
Yeah,
of finance.
so I often hear this before that blockchain is a solution looking for a problem to solve. Well, that's true. In the early years, the hype cycle is really so much. Anywhere from tuna to cows are being blockchained already. If you enter the hype cycle of blockchain in the 2018, 2017. But I think things are becoming more rational. Now there are actual problems that blockchain is solving, from anywhere from remittance to logistics. Hopefully in the future, titling and sovereign ID. So it's coming, and if you draw a continuum of 5 years from now, I think we'll be surprised. Problems that are being solved by regular databases right now will slowly become things of the past, and blockchain will be the de facto solution set. Similar to cloud, people couldn't imagine putting their compute and their data outside of the country and putting it in an anonymous site. But right now, that's the proven solution for scalability and reliability. So early days still in the blockchain, but things are becoming more rational. And we're now entering in the period where actual use cases are now coming to life. And a few more years from now, we'll just be in awe in terms of how pervasive blockchain technology is in banking and outside of banking.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Please, round of applause to our amazing panelists, Jello of Maya Bank, Alan of Alibaba Cloud Solutions, and Henry Aguda of the chairperson of UBX. Stay, Henry. We're going to have our picture taken.